So Fio, welcome to Modus. You've been with us 4 months now?
3 months.
3 months, okay. So your
Yeah.
first, welcome to your first 90 days.
Oh my God. Thank you.
If you don't mind me asking, what is, the first 3 months of your life at Modus been like?
Oh my God. So crazy, but so good. I really, really enjoyed it and I've learned a lot.
And so what do you do for Modus? I have no idea.
Oh my God, you don't? Okay. So I'm the HR specialist for Costa Rica, global, and US. So I'm handling benefits, let's say team buildings for us here down in Costa Rica. And I'm handling also events. Right now, that's the crazy one right now. And I get in touch with everybody, contracts, extensions, onboarding, offboarding, so everything.
So you're with us for 90 days. What about Modus attracted you to come work with us? What was like top 1 to 3 things that really got you excited about working with us?
Okay, probably I'm gonna give you the first one. I'm a very honest person to say. If I'm lying, you'll know for sure that I'm lying. So my last interviews with Sarah Jensen and Cheryl were very, very smooth. And it really showed that Modus was a very transparent company. And that's what I really, really liked. So I think that was the top one for me. That was the first thing I said, like, yeah, this is the place to be.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. I have not heard about that before. A lot of folks that I talk to speak to like the technical aspect.
Yeah,
But
but I don't
no,
know.
I think that's great because I do believe that speaks to the culture. So speaking of culture, like, have there been any surprises or like, what was your first impression?
I think the thing that probably impressed me the most was that it's really a global company. Like, I thought everybody's remote, and I was like, so nobody knows each other, or nobody talks, or nobody, I don't know, sends things in Slack, but everybody's really active. Everybody's really collaborative. Everybody's like active, and everybody's like sending pictures and everything. And I think that's the thing that impressed me the most because I really thought that nobody knew anybody, and that's pretty great.
First 90 days, okay? I'm going to keep riffing on this because you're so new to us. What are some like key things that you learned about Modus that like you were just like, I had no idea?
One of the coolest things I've seen is the blog posts. I think they're awesome, and anybody can contribute. Anybody can go into and publish, and I think that's really awesome because it gives them a lot of exposure. And I didn't expect it because usually companies say like, okay, only these are people to write blogs, or these are the ones that are experts in X or Y. So I think it's pretty cool that everybody can write a post and have it published.
So do we have backlog for your ideas in the works?
Oh my God. Oh my God, no.
Why not?
Because I have a lot, Jay.
Okay, fine. So
I'm
you're actually
going
doing
crazy.
stuff is what I'm hearing. Awesome.
Yeah.
That is cool. And so you mentioned that you're doing a lot of things around recruiting right now. And so, as bringing you on board was key to helping us do better at, growing our presence in Costa Rica. Can you explain some of the things you're doing to help grow Modus as far as, talent acquisition?
Yeah, for sure. Well, actually, today I just got an offer signed from our talent acquisition specialist in Costa Rica, so that's
Yes.
awesome. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I'm really excited, and everybody's really excited for her. So that's pretty good because I'm handling HR and recruiting, so I really need her. And right now, we're looking for events here in Costa Rica, meetups, conferences, and everything. We're looking to participate one early October, I believe. Scratch that, early November. It's early November, and it's going to be pretty good. I'm talking to Robert to see if he comes down here, what we're going to do. But it's going to be pretty great. We're going to increase our participation, and so people get to know us a little bit better, because usually I tell people like, hey, I work at Modus Create, and they're like, hey, what's that? Tell me more about that. And they usually don't know it, so it's pretty good that we're going to increase that presence.
So how do you describe Modus as, if you're interviewing colleagues for your department, how do you describe Modus?
Okay, that's a good question. And they usually do ask that. the good part is that they ask in Spanish, so I can be a little bit more informal and tell them a little bit more about what we are. Usually, what I tell them is that in Costa Rica, we're a very cool team. I really love our team. It's small, but it's awesome that it's small. Like we get along so well, and we're really that type of friends. You say like, "Hey, let's meet up. Let's go for lunch. Let's do this. Let's do that." Um, I also describe them the part of the global, let's say, part that everybody is in Slack. Our office is Slack, so it's pretty cool that everybody's sending pics, everybody is involved in everything. So I usually describe it as that, like we're very like a little team, but really, really close. And parting from the US, we get a lot of exposure, and everybody likes to see you here in Zoom, like doing calls and everything. I usually describe that part because I tell them it's remote and everything. We go to the office, I don't know, every 15 days or stuff. Um, but when they do meetings and everything, they like to see you. They like to do like Zoom calls with video and everything. So I get them prepared for that part for sure as well.
And as far as the reaction, is the reaction like, do they come off excited, lukewarm? I'm just curious.
They do. They do. They usually wonder like, is it safe? Or are they only like 10 people? Or are they going to close very soon? And I'm like, nope, no worries. They're really, really excited about Costa Rica people. They love us. So I usually tell them that, and they're pretty safe. I usually tell them my experience, like when I was interviewing and I had that same question, I was like, should I join? Should I not join? And they usually respond pretty positive.
One of the things that I love about your story is the fact that you did have that hesitation. There, as I visited the team back in early June this year, 2019. Sorry, I'm ready. My mind's already in 2020. As I visit the team in June 2020, I remember like just connecting with them, and I asked all the individuals that have joined Modus I meet for the first time. I asked them very similar questions, and I know that one engineer in particular was like, I relocated to Santa Ana, or to work with you. Yes, and I didn't want to say his name, but hey, yes, Raulio. Just to give him a little privacy. But I just thought it was great. The fact that he took a risk. To join a company. Not just that, but also a team at that point that was just in its embryonic stage. It was still young, and so I got a ton of respect for him. And obviously everybody else who joined at that time. And so you are very much, along the timeline of, joining at a very early stage in that region. The culture, the reason I ask everybody about culture, right? And Modus is not a place, I'm hoping you've seen this thus far, where our culture is, described through tacos on Slack. Now, it's an additive. But the reason I bring that up is because, like my business partner and I say, for us, our culture is born out of the work we do, right? And so being an Air Force veteran who have not been in battle, but, having the military style of vernacular kind of ingrained in me, we always say things like, we want to make sure that, we are in a foxhole with someone that we trust, right? So that basically means that if I have to work with you, Theo, I need to know that you got my back and I got yours. And I think that really is what Modus, its culture is boiled down to. And that's the type of message we want to make sure we give to everybody as they look to join the company. And I think you've been able to see that, in the various projects that we've done. And I know that I have yet to mail out the parts for the RGB screen project. But, I will say that the team in Costa Rica had the opportunity to run the first experiment with me. And yes, I imagine the parts are still sitting on the table looking like, the Terminator just broke down and all the wires are on the floor.
Yes, they are.
But, it's that level of engagement that we want to have with the greater team, right? And that's why I'm hoping that you sharing your story helps inspire other people, right? So with that, like tell me about your first job. Like what is the first job you did for a living? Like what was your first job? Were you like a store clerk? Were you a librarian?
Okay, so I got out of high school, and unfortunately my mom couldn't pay for college, so I had to start working right off. I started working at Sykes for AT&T, the call center, and it was like good. It was pretty good actually. I love speaking English, so I really enjoyed it. And usually people in Costa Rica say like, psych sucks or it's the worst or stuff like that. And it was really not that bad because, um, unfortunately, and not unfortunately for me, I got picked by a manager and she got the best team. She got all the pizza parties, she got all the time off, and we had a blast. So it was pretty cool. Um, and it was a pretty good opportunity for me to actually like speak English and get a little bit more fluent and everything. So it was a pretty good experience.
And what got you into human capital management?
Oh my God, long story,
Yeah, I
Jay.
want to hear it.
Let's see. After Sykes, I moved to Amazon, and it was still retail, like call center, and it was pretty good. I really liked Amazon. And in Amazon, what happens is that these type of, let's say, HR or admin or office management positions open first internally, and then they open externally. They usually believe they have people inside that will work best. So I got the opportunity to apply for recruitment assistant and I got it, thank God. It was again for my English. That's why my boss picked me out and well, I got in that. In recruitment is awesome. I really like it. But it was massive recruiting, right? So it was hire 100 people right now and we had to do job fairs. We had to do a lot of things and it was crazy. It was really crazy, but it was awesome. It was really cool. We even got an Amazon gift card at the end of our assignment. It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was awesome. I bought a Polaroid and everything. It's awesome. I loved it.
Like an old school Polaroid spits out the paper?
Yeah, an old school. It's like this big.
Okay.
Like this big.
Nice.
It's awesome. Yeah, I love it. So it was a pretty good experience. And after that, everything else just like rolled over. Like I went from recruitment to ERC. ERC is Employment Resource Center in Amazon. Then I went to 3M as HR specialist. Then I got a promotion for HR VP.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I went to the hangar to be the HR specialist as I am right now. Then Gorilla Logic,
Okay.
and then here.
Awesome.
I'm here.
Wow, that's a lot of emotion.
Yeah, I know.
That's the best British accent that I can muster, and I get yelled at all the time by my wife for trying and I'm failing. So, looking at Modus, we're growing, global company, 42 countries. One of the things I think that is important for anyone looking to join us is how we've organized around. We use the term we organize around open source, and it's a kind of nebulous term, but one of the components to that is being able to essentially work from it wherever there is an internet connection and a reliable power source, in essence, right? So you've been able to enjoy that quite a bit. I don't think that couch is in our CR office. It must be at home.
Nope,
and you mentioned the puppy,
Yep.
so that's cool. So
Yeah.
From your perspective, what's the experience like for you working from home?
I thought I was gonna have a pretty hard time because I'm very used to being in the office and with a lot of people, and I'm very social. Like usually, people tell me like, "You're really HR? Are you sure you're HR? You're friends with everybody and you're going out to parties with everybody?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still HR." So I thought I was gonna have a really hard time, to be very honest, Jay. But it's been awesome. It's been really great, because I get to handle my time a lot more better than being at the office every day where people say, "Hey, can you help me with this? Hey, can you do this?" Which they do in Slack, but it's very different in person. So I think I really enjoyed it, and we here in Costa Rica, we haven't lost that part of connection. Like we usually go to lunches, we usually do team buildings. We have one this Friday, so it's pretty cool. So we haven't lost that part, and I'm really excited because I really thought like, oh my God, nobody's gonna know me, and what am I gonna do, and if I need something. But it's been really great. I really enjoyed it.
And as far as like connecting with the global team, I mean, that's a significant responsibility. Like, I don't know if you understand that, but like you're up, there's about 200 Modites from, like I mentioned before, 42 different countries. So what tools do you use to connect with folks? You mentioned Slack. Do you do video chats with them? Like, or, like, do you play online games like World of Warcraft? Like, what do you do to connect with Modites abroad?
That's a pretty good idea. I'm going to write that down. But I do not play games because I don't have time for it, but that would be pretty awesome. Usually they contact me through Slack and stuff like that. But I think the most important part is, well, that I'm a Spanish speaker, right? So usually when I send them like, hello, whatever, I need this or that, or hey, I'm talking about you, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, hey, it's in Spanish. And I'm like, hey, yes, it is. So they get pretty excited about that, that they can actually talk in Spanish and it's easier for
Hmm.
them. And of course, everybody can speak English,
Hmm.
but I think when you're speaking your native language, it's much, much easier for them. And they're like, hey, thank you so much. This is so great. And I think that's the best part that I've enjoyed of. Even the Brazil guys, they usually, Portuguese and Spanish is really, really similar. So I think it's really easy to understand each of them. So I think it's been great. And I think, but I'm gonna write that down for the games. Definitely, I'm gonna do that. That's awesome.
We used to do that years ago. We did some type of online tournament, and I wasn't a part of it, but I
Oh my
remember
God.
the folks. I think it was World of Warcraft. I don't know, but yeah, we did like an online game session, and as many people as they could connected to this server, and I think we took it down. It was quite a funny thing to observe, but I wasn't a part of it, unfortunately. I just hadn't gotten to that level of comfort yet with Modus. Um, Being able to work from home obviously is a significant responsibility. I know a lot of folks, when they enter that realm, they think, I don't know if I could be productive in an environment where I am left to my own accord,
Yeah.
right? So, like,
Yeah.
it's clear that you have been able to, be responsible with your time. But what do you do to stay healthy, right? So you're given a very plush couch to sit on, or you could work from your kitchen desk, or whatever. Like, what do you do do you take breaks? Do you go out and exercise? Like, working from home has its own like challenges. So how do you overcome some of those challenges?
It does. It's really challenging. Okay, so I usually go to gym here in my in my apartment. Like I don't even have to go outside of my house. There are some gym implements and everything, so it's pretty good. I usually go to the gym probably 5 or 6 a.m. my time, and then I get back and have a lot of meetings. And as I told you, I usually play with my puppy, and he's gonna get big like in no time. So we're gonna probably go on runs later on. But yeah, I usually do that. Um, and before in my other companies, we usually had like let's say a routine, like every 5 or 10 minutes, get up, like stretch and stuff like that. And not something too like complicated or anything. But usually I do that. I try to stretch. I try to do stuff like that because it's really important for me because I used to do ballet when I was like from 3 years old until I was like, I don't know, 18 or 20. Um, so for me, stretching is like really, really important, and I really do it like on a daily basis, like always.
That's awesome. I can tell you that working from home before Modus, when I would work from home often, I often felt disconnected, right? I just pressed a key on my keyboard. I need to push it away. I often felt disconnected. And, you mentioned that idea of you working before at an office and people having the freedom to reach out to you. And I think that's
Yeah,
one of the things that creates the challenges for folks, right? Because if
yeah,
we even think about just the American time zones, right? North and South American time zones.
yeah,
Even within those time zones, there are so many miles between. And even if, the United States is a country, so many miles in between the different borders. And so
yeah,
I know a lot of folks feel somewhat isolated when they work from home for so
yeah,
long. And so I think, it when I say challenges from being able to work from home, I really mean like that concept of isolation where people think, oh my God, like I just don't have that human interaction that I crave.
yeah,
And one
yeah,
thing I think is very special about Modus, and you mentioned it, is the concept that we do use tools like Slack and Zoom to be able to connect more. And
yeah.
we do try to have team events, and I can tell you that we're doing a leadership team event soon. And I know that you've been doing stuff in Costa Rica. You did a go-karting event, and you showed me some video clips. What are you doing? You said you have one tomorrow. Are you guys going like paragliding? What do you have going on?
That would be awesome, but no. Okay, so we're going to a place that's it's called Mancala, and it's boards, like board games and beer. That's like the concept of it, and they have over 5,000 board games, so it's gonna be pretty good. I ordered some beers, some food for us, already prepaid and everything. So we just get there and have fun. It's going to be pretty cool.
That is awesome. I actually just got into a board game called Catan, or Catan, depending on how you...
I love it.
Okay, so I'm late to the game, all right? I'm late to the
Oh
game.
my God.
But my aunt showed me this a few weeks ago, and my family and my wife and my kids, we've been playing it just about every night. And I recently introduced my mother and my stepdad to it over the last weekend. And, you know, it's that type of stuff I think is really important. Those activities, like the concept of board game, I think that's so cool because it allows you guys to really connect and talk and, you know, even talk smack to each other and, you know, kind of implement different strategies. So I really think that's a lot cooler than going to like a shooting range or, you know, like when I was there, we went to, I don't remember the name of the volcano, but we went to a volcano, yes, and we went on a nature walk, which was really awesome.
Yeah, you told me
and
about it.
I had an opportunity to connect with the team, and I really cherish that because I had an opportunity to learn more about, you know, everybody got a chance to really have a cool shared experience.
Yeah.
So I think, you know,
And they loved it. They always talk about it.
really, that's awesome. I often thought as I was walking with them, that they were thinking like, man, this little guy walks too fast. Because with my little legs, I move. But this has been a great opportunity to connect with you, Fio. You know, I think often two times like you mentioned, you have a lot of things on your plate. But you know, I want to tell your story and kind of allow people to understand that even, you know, Modus as a global platform, as a platform for success for individuals globally, you know, includes folks in human capital management, right? So no matter what your industry vertical, we are a platform. So, you know, do you feel that you've been positioned for success at Modus 90 days in?
Yeah, 100%. Like even since day zero, not even day one. Like day zero, I'm talking interviews. Sarah and Jansen actually asked a question that I got really glad they asked. They told me like, hey, have you worked in an environment where your boss is not always on top of you? And have you worked on like an environment that has? And I explained my experience on that. Like I've worked in 3M, that's a very corporate, and everything's like, you know, like everything's established. You have to go step by step. Everything's like really corporate business. And then I went through the hangar, and it was, you can do whatever you want. Go ahead, and you just get the approval, and you go ahead and do your stuff. And I explained everything, and I think that I can handle both. But being at Modus, having that I don't know, trust, having that feeling that you belong, I think that's great. And I think I have been set up for success 100%. Like it's awesome. Sarah and Cheryl have been a great team with me, and I really enjoy that part where they trust me, where they actually give me you know, that part like, hey, you can do this, just let us know what you're doing,
right?
Let's touch base on this. Like they're not always on top of you, and I think that has been the greatest part of it.
Wow, that's really good to hear.